Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, good
Morning,
morning,
guys.
everyone.
Why is it so low? Like it's a long weekend, I can understand, but good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Morning. Good morning.
That's nice. So welcome everyone. Um, so yesterday we completed 75th year of Republic Day, and today we have our first event of the year. Like we are having the half day online conference of 2024, and we are having all the presenters and our panelists spanning across the country, and we are completing 199th weekend of continuous event of TWT today. So big round of applause for TWT.
Awesome.
So we have our experts today, Gyanesh Talwar, Amandeep Singh, Kumar, Vaibhav, and leaders who are present for a panel discussion, Mridula Menon, B. RaviKumar, and Shrutika Dhake. And we will be hearing from our experts and leaders in this online conference, and our MC for the panel discussion is none other than Mr. Puneet Srivastava, who's the director of TWT and the backbone of TWT. So a round of applause for all of them. So over to you, Puneet.
Okay, so thank you so much, Preeti, for that introduction, and thank you, Ravi. So, yep, this is a big event, and Ravi and Preeti, first of all, thank you so much for putting on all the effort to put this. Conducting one webinar is good, but conducting a half day event is no child's play. So great effort from both of you. So, okay, people. So we'll get started. So this is the event, and my job is just to tell you a bit about Techwriter's Tribe. So not the complete history, because the history has become bigger. It's difficult to cover in 5 minutes. So technically the main points. So those of you who are new, so Techwriter's Tribe basically is starting almost yeah, it started in 2020, so we will be kind of completing almost 4 years soon. Right now we have 17,000 plus members across different channels, and of course in India, I mean, we are the biggest platform in terms of activities, and we don't just talk about numbers in terms of how many followers we have, but in terms of activities. I don't know if anybody else ever has done this. Every week we conduct, and as Preeti just mentioned, 199th consecutive week since March 2020, we have been conducting something or other for different kind of for technical writers, UX writers, and other things. In the process, of course, we have followers in India and across outside India. Our basic motto, just care, share, and prepare. That means basically we work together. Some activities we provide, and some activities you all like. Many of the presenters are there today, so uh, people like them come forward to help the community. That's what we care, share, and then prepare for a strong tech writing community, which we can call it proudly very skilled community. And why do we need a skilled community? I think you all know that. Why do you need to be skilled to get that respect, which many of us keep asking? Oh, we don't get that respect at workplace. First, you need to be skilled for that. It's very basic thing. Okay, so that's what we try to help you with. Yeah. Uh, okay. So what do we do in general? We generally have different kind of knowledge sharing events. All our events are primarily focused on knowledge sharing. Yes, in between we do have fun events also, like year-end events and all, but primarily it's knowledge sharing events. Knowledge sharing event is online as well as offline. Okay, so like this one is online. Next week it is 200th week, and we are going offline. That will be our offline conference in Pune. So those of you who are in Pune or Maharashtra can join that. And In this process, we also have, apart from knowledge-based conferences, events, we also have different kind of networking groups. So please find your space where you are comfortable, to which category you belong. And you can join our city-based WhatsApp group. You can join topic-based WhatsApp group where you can just be bothered about the topic you are interested in. And if you're a leader, you can join leader group. Also, we have monthly newsletter for tech writers, which is prepared by tech writers only. And so all these platforms that we provide, feel free to get benefited wherever it suits you. Just a glimpse of what we did in 2023, some key things that we did, like we started the year with Doc website fair. Again, we repeated this year also. We started this year also first week with Talk Website Fair. And then last year it was ChatGPT. Today we have trends, which will primarily focus, apart from other trends, which will from the presenters, it will focus on the role of ChatGPT and AI, where it has now, say after 1 year, where are we? So it will focus on that. And then we started last year with career conversations, multiple interview series, multiple interviews of leaders conducted. Then we have those of you who are in the WhatsApp groups probably will be aware about Write It Right weekly quiz. And then we had two contests. One was white paper contest, and then we had Docathon event in January, in December also. Both of them had multiple winners, and both of them were huge success. Then we started mentorship program, out of which we already have 4 different mentorship programs run online last year. And of course, this year there will be more. Newsletter, yes, we have monthly newsletter. Feel free to contribute to be part of it. In case you want to write, go ahead and write. We also conducted 2 global survey, one on technical documentation tool and other on release note survey. In case you want the result, just access it from our app. Okay, the TWT app, which is there for primarily for all of you tech writers. Feel free to access it from there. Last year, we had 6 offline conferences in these different cities. And now in 2024, first of all, we conducted the fair on Jan 6th. Then in that fair, what did you gain? You got 70 plus links of public documentation website. It is still accessible. If you want, you can access it. And then we started our courses. Those are the regular courses that we do every time. So these courses started, and that was in January, and today we will be ending January. And then in Feb, we have 2 offline conferences lined up. Maharashtra, this will be our 4th one. And then, yes, Gujarat, the much awaited Gujarat. We have never reached there. So now we are starting there with the regional conferences, and then of course, multiple online courses. Okay, how do we do all this? This is not a one-man effort. Yes, Preeti said backbone of tech writer strive. Fine, I just started it, but it's running because of people like Preeti, Ravi, and so many other people. Okay, who are associated apart from the contributors. So we have a central committee of 4 members. Then we have different city representatives. We have newsletter team, and then there are some special initiatives. We have people for that. So this is just a glimpse of some of the photographs. It doesn't cover the whole team, but yeah, the teams that we have, some of the photographs are there. It's too big right now to cover in one slide. So thanks to these volunteers that we are able to do all that. So all kudos goes to them. And now over to Team Hyderabad. So Ravi and Preeti Panna have joined recently as volunteers, but they have been doing amazing job. They have already contributed a lot in December, and now here they are with their first event. And so over to Ravi and Preeti.
Thank you,
Thank you
Puneet.
very much, Puneet.
So this is like the first event being hosted by me and Ravi, and so this is the first offline event and online conference that we are hosting. The team Hyderabad. So in 2023, the activities that we had in June 10, 2023, we had 2 offline conferences. One was in June 10 and one was in August 20, and we had multiple online events. And that's it that we had in 2023. So let's get started for the day. So before that, I request you to have some general information and request that we need everyone to have during the presentation. So the recording will be shared with all who have registered for the event, and you may need to have your Google or Gmail ID to access that. And please email support if you have registered with other email IDs. And I request you all to please stay on mute during the demo and the presentation. And please type your questions in the chat box, and we will ask you during the question and answer session after the presentation. And please ask questions relevant to that presentation. So the first session will be given by none other than Mr. Gyanesh Talwar, who's the managing editor of the Content Gym. And he has been in his 2-decade long career, he has been leading the data and the content leading team, and he has been doing the frame maker adoption efforts, and has led the design and creation of the EC certification exam for the Adobe FrameMaker, and he's very passionate about research, making things better and simpler to understand by the users, and helping others succeed in those areas. And he also devotes his time in exploring the latest trends that's going in the technologies, and also developing the user documentation. And like earlier years, he has also presented API documentation in the Maharashtra regional conference in 2023. And today's session will be on leveraging ChatGPT and other generative AI possibilities. So I heartily welcome Gyanesh Talwar to our first session. So over to you, Gyanesh.
Thank you, Preetipanna. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great. So I'll share my screen and begin. Hello. Sorry, my Teams crashed as soon as I shared my screen. Let's try this again.
What are you doing?
Is my screen visible? A little feedback.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Loud. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's begin. Good morning, everyone. So this session was earlier presented in the Stuttgart annual conference, TC World, and interestingly, more than 60% of the conference was about ChatGPT and generative AI. And my session happened to be the last one, and it was a challenge. How do I add value? So thankfully, I had the flexibility to keep reforming it, keep refining it, to include information that is not covered by anybody else. So here we go. So Preetipanna has already given my introduction. How many of us have access to the premium ChatGPT? If anybody has access to premium ChatGPT, if you have the paid version, which costs like 20 euros or $22 monthly, you can access a chatbot I've created using this QR code, or just by going to bit.ly TCG chat. What is this chatbot? We'll come to that. So today's agenda, generative AI for us as end users, then for us as content creators for delivering content. Some use cases we will go through: Owlbot, Notion, Oxygen XML Positron. I think Amandeep may be able to tell you more about it because he has actually worked on this particular flavor of the chatbot. And Eddie. Chatbots we want to create, there are a few, there is technology available for us to create our own chatbots. The ones we saw above under the second bulleted point are basically available, and we can start using them if we are on particular systems. The third bulleted point, which includes VoiceFlow, AWS Bedrock, Hugging Face, and a custom chatbot based on ChatGPT, something you can integrate on any platform. And we'll also talk about what are the missing pieces in chatbot adoption. So interestingly, chatbots have been a hot topic for the technical writing community. A lot of people have been doing it. Even pre-ChatGPT, when the technology was quite formative, it was still evolving, and we could hardly add any value through chatbots. And it was basically a search engine, if anything at all. But things have changed ever since ChatGPT has come into picture. We also have some other options, such as Grok and Bard. But at the point, ChatGPT seems to be leading the pack, which keeps changing from time to time. Grok is something I would like to explore and share because Grok is supposed to be really good. But in this session, we won't be covering Grok. So with generative AI, I personally have been using it as a technical writer. And I would say I am probably 4x more productive with the tasks that I'm doing as a technical writer. So there are things that we couldn't do earlier, but now we can. As a content creator, if I had to create something with working examples, let's say about REST APIs, earlier I had to team up with a developer, at least to use that developer as a sounding board to confirm what I've written is actually correct, because I would have my ideas, but a technical person who has more experience would be able to verify. And if I have to get something working, let's say a REST API, then I would have to probably work and take help from a developer. Now I no longer have to do it. I can chat, I can get a lot of assistance and create working tech on my own. We can go through one or two examples of that in the session. How much faster can you learn with ChatGPT? Much faster. The trick is to ask the right questions. Earlier, learning used to be a factor of searching and locating information and reading through it. Now, if you are curious about something, you can just ask the question, get a precise answer. Or even if you're getting started with the technology, if you could get started with a question such as, give me the smallest working example of, let's say, Kubernetes, then everything is clear for you. I remember trying to understand what Kubernetes is in a pre-GPT era. It took me quite a while, and still I had my doubts. But with ChatGPT, I just asked, okay, create the smallest working example of Kubernetes, and I was clear that what it is technically in a very tangible format. There is this file, what it is trying to do, how it is used, and things were much clearer to me, much faster. We'll also see how you can create a chatbot and use it to solve technical documentation issues. And the latest thing is, can you create a passive income stream by creating a chatbot? So this point is interesting because ChatGPT has now launched an app store for chatbots. And if you create a chatbot with the information that you have, the expertise that you have, which is more useful than ChatGPT, people could pay to use your chatbot. And you will get money for that. How it works, we'll cover a little bit more in the later part of the session. So it may seem that we went from a Google search to directly ChatGPT, but it's been a slow transition. And it's made possible by NLP, which is natural language processing, using mostly Python. And there have been libraries that help you read text the way it means something. It was not just plain text search. The various libraries of Python, of the various NLP libraries of Python could read sentences the way they are constructed, make sense out of it, can find the subject of some sentence, can find whether a subject is positive or negative in connotation. So if you want to understand the behind the scenes science of it, you will gain a lot of knowledge, useful knowledge by learning mainly these libraries. Spacey is fantastic. They have very good documentation. It'll help you understand how we went from plain old Google search to generative AI. So I would recommend everybody to go through Spacey, and the other libraries are also interesting. TextBlob is very easy to use and very relevant to technical writing also. So ChatGPT is based on two main NLP libraries of Python, TensorFlow and PyTorch. We won't be going into much detail of that, but let's rather spend some time having hands-on experience on the chatbots. So this is the last slide before I go into demoing a chatbot that I've created. So some of the possibilities that I explored. As a writer, I would say maybe copy paste something in chatbot and say ChatGPT and say rewrite the following using 50% of the words, make the following a bulleted list, or translate something. And Sarah Sanders has actually created a style guide assistant. We'll see more of that as the session goes forward. And if you want to automate some basic tasks that you do as a technical writer, you can ask ChatGPT to quickly create a program for you to automate some of the work, and you can do it in quick time. For example, create a Python program to check duplication in a page. Let's say you wrote an article. Let's say you are going through about 1,000 articles, and you are supposed to go through it and make sure there is no duplication of content. You could quickly create a Python program to run through all those 1,000 pages and tell you where the duplication is, right? That will save you a few hundred hours. You can create a Python program to see if the content in a page is written with the right simplicity and complexity for an audience. Now, if your audience is somebody who is like, let's say, non-graduate call center agents, then there are Python libraries to actually tell you if the content is simple enough for them to understand. And can ChatGPT help you create a cloud app of your own? So we'll go through this. So everybody knows what this is. And okay, let me zoom in a bit. And this is the Content Gym chatbot. What I did here is I ingested all the content I've created for the Content Gym newsletter that I have on LinkedIn. Some of you may be familiar with it, and put it in a chatbot. And now it can give you answers based on that content. Let's ask the Content Gym chatbot to introduce itself. So while there are more technical options for creating chatbots, there is a very simple way of doing that as well. You can create your own chatbot and configure it. And for that, all you have to do is just chat with ChatGPT to create and configure the chatbot. What I create or configure here will be updated in the window on the right side, and I can confirm the updation and everything will be live. Somehow it's not working this morning. Otherwise, I would have maybe run the presentation through this. So we could present using this chatbot. Let's ask, are you ingesting new data or is there a technical issue? I'm ready to ingest data. Okay, let's see. This is the information about today's TWT session. And ingest this. Let's see what it says. So what I'm doing is I'm chatting with ChatGPT to create a new chatbot. That's it, as simple as that. Okay, what happened? It's still processing. It seems there's an issue with updating my knowledge base with the new information. However, I've noted the details of the okay. Okay, let's see if this is updated. It says there's an issue. TWT session today. Oh yeah, okay. Who are the other speakers? Okay. So why should you create your own chatbot? I'm unable to retrieve. Okay, it's giving the names and it also says that it is, okay. So the easiest way to create a chatbot is creating it in ChatGPT, but there could be an easier way as well. So as technical writers, we can check our org because every CTO these days is either working on a chatbot for the enterprise or they have already created one. So there are some, so why would companies create their own chatbots? Mostly they are creating chatbots for productizing the chatbot that they can provide as a product, sell it to other people who could use it as a product, or they are using it for internal streamlining of workflows as well, such as tech support, documentation, presentation, the use case most relevant to us, and also for creation of some content that is sent to the users. Okay, now if I update it, confirm, anybody with a link to the content gym knowledge guide will be able to access the same information. Who is the second speaker today? So if your enterprise is already, okay, so it's giving perfect answers. You could create such chatbots to streamline your own workflows. You could create something. So you only need to have a purpose that you can solve with this. Most relevant use case for us would be to maybe create content relevant to a particular content type, like there is a tool called Canny, which is used to create changelog entries, and Canny gives you a bunch of best practices in a PDF that how you should write changelog entries. What I did here is I uploaded the PDF to the changelog to a ChatGPT here, and if I just copy paste some information from product specs, it will create changelog entries for me. I will not have to sit and write them for day in, day out. They will be created in a way that is expected. Okay, let's try this. I first need to have information. Give a Jira issue content for a ChatGPT creation. Okay, whatever. Below is the example. Okay, now let's see. Let's say you have a Jira issue with this information. Okay. Okay, till here is enough. And we go to the changelog writer and say, create a changelog entry from the following Jira issue. Okay, so here's your release notes. And it is created based on the samples that were ingested while creating this chatbot. Okay, coming back to the presentation. Where would that be? Okay, can you create your own cloud app using ChatGPT? You know, actually, I've created a fully functional REST API using ChatGPT. It actually runs on my computer, and I could make REST API calls to it. So it can really help you create a lot of tech that otherwise would have been hard work for you. It can help you create content. So basically, you could be many times more productive than without ChatGPT. So now, to some extent, we've already answered this question. Why would we create our own chatbot rather than let customers use ChatGPT? Now, one of the questions is that our customers could already be using ChatGPT to get answers or on our tech, whereby ChatGPT queries our technical documentation and gives the answers. Now, that helps the users, and that helps us because we don't get any tech support issues. But why should we have our own ChatGPT? First of all, if we are letting ChatGPT use our content and give answers, we get no analytics on what the users are searching on. We are flying blind. Second is performance. ChatGPT is basically, the G in GPT is general purpose, while we want something more efficient than that, more specific. Why? Because there could be bias about the content about our products. It could fetch content not only from our website, it could source content from any website. Let's say somebody has written a review, and which is a scathing one for our products, and it can give some information there, which we don't want. We want to give good, positive information about our products. So our own chatbot, when I say here, it's about creating a customer support chatbot from our content, our knowledge base that is serving the customers on our platform. Fourth thing would be domain expertise. We could be using, we could have a more expert knowledge base created, which we may or may not want to share with the general public. So our customers could be accessing it and getting better answers. ChatGPT availability is also sometimes not there. It can say that I'm not available, like we saw while I was creating a chatbot using it. But if a chatbot is running on our platform, we can ensure better availability. Now, hallucinations, I haven't seen this for a while, but it was a very big issue till a month ago, that ChatGPT can just visualize features that are not there and write perfect answers like the feature exists, or it can give wrong answers. When we create a chatbot ourselves, we can ensure that there are no hallucinations because we'll provide better test data. ChatGPT also has a cutoff date. So if there is a cutoff date and people are searching our content, people are trying to get answers on the latest tech that we have created, none of it will show up, which we don't want. We want our latest features to be highlighted. And there may be reservations against giving our data to OpenAI. We don't want to share. We don't know what they will be doing with it. And if we create our own chatbot, we can actually integrate it with our customer support platform, where people log issues, if they're customer support issues, tech support issues, which we spend a lot of money and time to solve. We can just direct them to our chatbot and give them answers there and then, maybe preventing cases being filed and saving a lot of cost for our company. ChatGPT can do the following. So this is, okay, we are missing the top here. Okay. We'll come back to this one. Okay. So first of all, a very easy, any of you who is using readme.io as a platform for technical documentation, all they have to do is pay some money to the creators of readme, and you can have a chatbot integrated in your system. Now, these are some of the answers that we got from Owlbot. So Owlbot was the very first technical writing centric bot that was released. And you don't have to work much here. Your technical documentation is already there. You just have to either opt for the trial or pay some money, which is like, what, $150 a year or a month. I have it listed in later part of the presentation, and you will have a chatbot within your documentation. So Owlbot versus a custom chatbot, some comparison. I'll share this PPT with you. In the interest of time, we'll just skip forward. So the crux of the matter is that Owlbot, although serves most purposes, with a custom chatbot, you can do much better. So Notion, some of us may be using Notion in our orgs. Notion happens to be a competitor of Confluence. And Notion has integrated AI for content creation. And there is a detailed post on this on the Content Gym newsletter. If you want to understand what all Notion can do using AI. In fact, it's quite impressive. And it can create, it can do a lot of stuff similar to what we saw, like the changelog creation from Jira issues. Similar stuff can be achieved here. Project plans can be created. So for internal documentation, at least, Notion can be really useful. So as we saw, first we were writing for the users, then we started writing for the machine. You may have heard in the last 1 year that we have to streamline our writing to suit the machine, how we should write for the machine in a question answer format, so that the chatbot is able to read it. But I would say now we have actually moved on to writing the machine itself. We can chat with ChatGPT to create a chatbot. So we chat, and that creates a chatbot. So this is in the lighter vein. I tried to use the ChatGPT REST APIs to create. I was playing around with it, trying to see what I can do with it. And when I sent the query using the REST API, what is the capital of France? This is the answer I got. Is this legible to everyone? Okay, there's everyone. Preview. So what is happening here? It's not giving a straight answer. It's because it is using ChatGPT 3.0, which was basically for completion with some random information. That time, it was not usable. The engine here, DaVinci, will have to change it to get more accurate answers if we want to use the ChatGPT REST APIs to create our own chatbot. One of the ways to create a chatbot is voice flow. You can visually model a chatbot and integrate it in your site. You can use intercom. So some known people, some of my friends are actually involved in rolling out projects using these technologies that we are covering. And I'll come back with more definitive information in a follow-up session sometime about how it went, some best practices for creating chatbots, what you can do, what you can achieve in an org. Gradle and Bedrock happens to be two other options. Bedrock is AWS Bedrock. These are two other options you can use to create your own chatbot. But again, something I've mentioned earlier, it's worthwhile checking with your org if they are already creating a chatbot for, let's say, productizing the chatbot, selling it to other people, or for internal consumption. And you can just feed your technical documentation to the same chatbot, not having to duplicate the effort, and it will start giving answers about your technical documentation, and you can integrate it in your technical documentation site. Intercom, I'll cover it in more detail at some other time. So summing up, okay, how much time do we have left? Can anybody tell me?
7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay. So some pointers and then we can have Q&A. First of all, you cannot avoid the chatbot. It's here to stay and it's making great things possible. Like we saw that just by feeding a Jira issue into a custom chatbot, we got the changelog entry. And that's just the start of the usefulness of a chatbot for us. Your CTO is probably working on a chatbot. So what is a chatbot? It's the tech plus the test data, basically. At a fundamental level, it's just two things. If your company has already acquired, already developed, or already bought a chatbot, the tech part of a chatbot, you can utilize the same license, the same effort into your documentation website and feed your doc site as test data, as the data set, and you will have a chatbot. So don't miss out on this. You don't need to duplicate the effort. This is the quickest way to having a good functional chatbot. And if you want to work on a chatbot in your org, you have to be careful because right now it happens to be the glory project that gets people promotions and everybody wants a pie for it. So there'll be a lot of politics around it. So try to be a judicious part of the system rather than make any move that makes others insecure. Let's say you are able to create a chatbot, which is doing very well. It may create some sort of friction with others. So best is to partner others in a very smart way, and that will help you with the implementation as well. We will definitely have to change our writing style to suit the chatbot, but chatbots are moving so fast that they may learn our writing style. I personally feel, I don't know, we could have a show of hands. I personally feel that ChatGPT understands me much better than another human being. If I pass vague instructions, a human being may ask me 10 questions before they give me a useful answer. But the chat GPT will be quick to just tell me what I want. I mean, even with the incorrect or insufficient instructions that are not very precise. So how about others? Show of hands. I see others who, I see 4 people only on video, but do we feel so? Yeah, so we have a thumbs up from Kumar, Vaibhav. Missing pieces. So to have a good chatbot implementation, there are still a few things that we need to figure out. And if we are able to figure them out, we'll have very good chatbots. How do our users know what to ask? Now, chatbots have all the answers, but our users may not know what to ask. As long as they know what to ask, they will get the answers. But how do we guide them through an experience whereby they don't know what to ask? Do we have a dashboard? Do we have some sort of an interface whereby the most important questions that a person is likely to ask based on their profile, based on their learning path, are already populated? Maybe. A dashboard with all the information? Maybe. Otherwise, you are left with a question answer interface and you don't know any questions. So it's left to the user to make sense of it. But we should be able to ensure that it makes sense for more number of users. Second is, how do we verify the answers? Now, a lot of testing is required. In most chatbots, we have a thumbs up and thumbs down sign to get feedback on whether we are giving the right answers. But still, we need to go beyond that to make sure that the best answers are given in all cases. What won't be obsolete next week? Now, this technology is moving very fast. What happened in the last conference I presented at, which was mostly about ChatGPT, there were speakers skipping slides. Oh, this is not relevant anymore. Oh, this is not relevant because it's moving so fast. 1 week ChatGPT is the king. Next week Grok is kicking ass, and it is much more advanced than ChatGPT. Then Bard comes in. It has no cutoff date of data. It has more functionality. It has maps integrated. So we never know which one is going to be the best this week, which tech is obsolete and which tech we can utilize. So we have to be on our toes. GDPR. So this is a concern with European customers. We all know that GDPR is a very sensitive issue, and we need to make sure that we don't step over any data which causes issues. Even GDPR, I think the European Union might be working on updating it to make sure that it takes into account ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is doing what basically? It's Googling the answers and formulating the answers and giving them to you in the format that you want. Is this data theft? It definitely is. I mean, if the person doesn't want to share their data. So these things are just evolving. Right now, if you're creating images using data, DAL-E is copyright infringement. Midjourney is copyright infringement. Adobe Firefly is probably not, because they have their own data set, images that they own from which they create. So professionally, if you want to create something.
3 minutes left.
3 minutes left. Okay. So professionally, if you want to create something, you have to be sure that it doesn't infringe copyright. This is one of the biggest hurdles in, let's say, image or artwork creation right now. We have 3 minutes. Any questions?
We have a question from Akash asking, like, if an organization invests in creating its own chatbot, can that be used within the company's secured environment to read product files?
Product files. I mean, of course, there is no constraint there. It can most definitely be used unless you yourself have any restrictions on that. Chatbots are basically there to ingest test data. And if your data is not protected, your chatbot has access to it. It can most definitely use that. But typically how it will be happening, the developers who will be creating it, whether on AWS Bedrock or on Gradle or on ViceFlow, they will be ingesting data there. And the process of ingesting data is basically about adding new files to your chatbot like what? Like this. Or it could be about directing the chatbot to read something that is available online or within your environment. So yeah, you can read it. Okay, there's a lot of chat going on. Is there a missing question there?
One more question from Parth. Does structured authoring data fit into the scheme of AI systems? Should we move towards a new authoring style?
So the new authoring style that I'll come back to data. The authoring style that works best in test data for chatbots is question and answer. First of all, so what I ingested as question and answer, whereby I formatted the heading and created a question there and then had an answer, I got the most accurate answers there. It also works very well when we have an HTML structure or an XML structure, whereby we have heading 1, some text, then heading 2, heading 3, heading 2, something, and then heading 3. It is able to make the relations and the hierarchy of the content and understand that how it relates to each other. And going by that logic, structured content is excellent for doing this. There was also another webinar recently by Michael Ion Costa of Avalara. I'm yet to go through the recording, but I will highly recommend that. The point of that webinar was that that structured content and AI are a match made in heaven. So we must utilize structured content to the max as test data for AI. So data, of course, data has a hierarchy, data has that question answer format, title. There may be small changes required to get the best value out of this. I haven't really tried using data files as test data, but I'll try that out. Maybe make a blog post soon in the coming days. So follow, these are some references, and follow the newsletter. You can scan this to follow the newsletter if you're not already following it. So some of the questions I can answer as part of a newsletter post. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, this one we answered, structured authoring.
Most of the
Gyanesh, yeah, I think Gyanesh, there is one question by Syed Atullah. To avoid OpenAI storing our data, would ChatGPT API be a better option?
See, whether you use APIs or not, okay. Actually, I have to try building a chatbot using the API to understand if they are still going to host our data, or their APIs are going to query a data source that we have at our end. Now, is that possible? I don't know. Again, a question that I will try to answer in a post. So a very good question. APIs typically do the same thing that is done through the UI. It's the same. It's a technical representation of the same thing. What they do is they give us more power to do stuff that is not typically possible through the UI, theoretically. Now, does ChatGPT allow you to have your test data or data set locally out of their bounds and not store it and yet help you serve it? It remains to be seen. It is a question I need to explore, but it's a very good question. Yeah, possible. And if anybody wants to try this chatbot, yes, somebody has already answered. You need to have the premium subscription, which costs like $22 a month. And then you can use this chatbot. But it is also worth exploring the GPTs that are available. So there are specific, in the GPT app store, there are chatbots available, specialized, that let you do specific stuff like create PDFs from your content, doing research and analysis, doing programming. Yeah. So worth exploring. Some of these may be free, some may be paid. So on that note, if nobody has any questions, thanks a lot.
We have one question from Syed, like to avoid OpenAI storing our data, would ChatGPT API a better option? I think Oxygen AI Positron uses it.
Preeti, we just finished that.
Okay.
Yeah, we answered this one. We covered it. So so it's on me to revert on that. Do follow my chatbot, my newsletter, not my chatbot, to maybe get a follow-up answer on this, which is here. It's called the Content Gym newsletter.
So following the chatbot, Gyanesh,
Yeah.
so following the chatbot will again need the people also to buy the premium, right?
Correct. It's not available for non-premium.
Right.
So, yeah. So parting note, I'll take just 10 seconds. So now a chatbot can actually form an interface for content presentation for us, while our test data can be the middleware. We don't need to worry that much about the presentation if we are just going to use the chatbot. The chatbot can translate on the fly. So good luck if you're a translator, or if you're thinking of a career in translation, maybe it's not a good time to think about that. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things are possible, and some I could think of while answering questions here. Thanks for the good questions. And I will try to come up with some posts with the follow-up answers to the questions that were asked here. And thank you. Over to the presenters, over to the organizers.
Thanks a lot, Gyanesh, for those insightful session, and it was a lot of learning that we gained today, and we'll be implementing in our day-to-day life, because ChatGPT is the new trend that is there everywhere. So it was a great learning today that we obtained. So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Over to you, Ravi.
Yeah, thank you, Preeti. Someone has raised their hand. Okay. That was really great session, actually, great insights, and it's like the information on ChatGPT gets on updating day to day. Like we need to update ourselves. That was really engaging session. Okay, let's go to the next presentation from Amandeep Singh Talwar, and he's leading team. He's a leading a team of microchip technologies. He's a technical publications manager from Hyderabad, and he has over 15 years of experience in technical communication, which includes writing and managing product and developer documentation for complex software technologies, building and leading global teams, and improving content creation and delivery processes. Before that, he worked in Xilinx and led a distributed team working on a variety of products and deliverables. He's also actively engaged in several change activities, including transition to data and improving the content experience for users. He has a master's in computer application. He thinks coding is fun and can often be found writing scripts to take care of drudge work for or automate a process. If you remember, we had Amandeep Singh presenting in Hyderabad offline conference in June 2023 on Oxygen XML. I still remember that session, which inspired me to learn about Oxygen XML. And yeah, so Amandeep Singh, please, you can join the presentation. Yeah, thanks for being here, Amandeep. Yeah.
Thanks, Ravi. I look much younger on this slide than I am today. Well, thank you again. And well, everyone, good morning. And let me quickly share my screen. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, I mean, I know if you can see my desktop. Should come up sometime now. Okay, hopefully you can see my desktop.
Yep.
Okay, great. Let me
Yes,
just pull things here. Okay, great. Well, again, thank you, Ravi. Thanks, Puneet, for this opportunity. Appreciate it. And again, Ganesh, thank you for setting up the ground for me. These sessions are kind of like, overlapping, and your session definitely, set that stage for me. So things will probably be a lot more easier for me now going forward. Today, I'll be talking about the very delicate balance between the core principles of technical communication and, of course, the ever evolving demands of the future. But before I continue, I actually love stories. So I have a story that I actually wanted to share with you all. This is a story by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, and I still remember this story, even though I learned this or I heard this in my sixth standard. It was from a Telugu textbook. Yes, I know Telugu. I was here, and I've been through. I was a Telugu medium student, so yes, I mean Telugu was definitely an integral part of my life. So this story also continues to be my driving force, and I thought this story fits in this whole topic a lot better than any other piece of information that I put together on the slides. So the story starts with a woodcutter who basically is entering a forest to gather some wood, and on his way he meets an holy man who just simply says, "Son, keep going," and then he moves off. The woodcutter couldn't actually recollect what's going on. He didn't take those words seriously. He just went ahead and started doing his work. But those words kept bothering him. He couldn't understand the true meaning of that advice and what he meant. So a few days later, when he was preparing to go back into the forest, um, he thought, okay, there's no harm in going ahead and see what happens. So he ventured deeper into the forest, and he was delighted because he found countless sandalwood trees there. And there was this opportunity. He says that he, cut down some of them, transported the precious wood to the market, and he made a huge profit that day. Well, it was good. He continued to go to that deeper part of the forest and, continue to, earn profits. And suddenly the same words occurred to him again. And he said, okay, let me go a little further. On this occasion, he found silver lying around the banks of the river in that forest, and it was really abundant. So he couldn't even dream of laying his hands on such a fortune. He began trading in silver, and now he was a very rich man. Well, life was very comfortable. He could have stopped there, but then the words still, kept coming back to him. And so this time he ventured out again and he crossed the river. He struck gold. A few days later, he went further ahead and then he found precious gemstones. Now, the moral of the story, I don't know what happened later because the story that did end there. But to me, at that point of time, the moral that was told was like, go ahead, take a leap of faith, move further ahead, and you will discover better things. Okay. And today we basically are discussing the same thing. For those who have actually been into this field for a couple of years now would relate to this story a lot better. Now, in my 20 years of career as a technical communicator, I have worked on multiple projects, multiple tools, and each one of these projects was definitely challenging than other. To me, this story, since it was a driving force, each challenge was an opportunity. It was moving ahead, keep going further. And and then this opportunity helped me grow my skills and thereby grow both personally and professionally. And today I'm actually trying to present all of this and all these details because I strongly believe the more I share, the more I gain. Okay. um, we will start. I would actually let's get started. and spend a few minutes about discussing the very core principles of, that have been the foundation of technical communication all for decades, and they will continue to be, there for many more decades to come. I personally call it the bread and butter because that's what we basically do 80% of our time. And to basically help you further with what I'm trying to, when I'm talking about the core principles, I picked up the Indian Space Research Organization as an example. That'll be interesting. So let's see. Okay, so to me, what I've learned is there are three core principles of technical communication, and they continue to be with me even till this date, and till the time I'll be in this domain and continue to be a technical communicator. One of them is clarity, the most important one, precision and accuracy. Everything else comes around it. Now, to me, let me quickly open this slide here. So I downloaded the Chandrayaan 3 brochure from ISRO website, and I'll actually relate to these 3 points here from their brochure. Now, when you and I look at this mission, I was excited. I was stuck to television the day when the rover was about to land on the moon. Everyone else, I'm sure, was. But then, we were constantly getting information. We were being told what is happening. What went in on that mission. What was the rover doing? How is it moving ahead? Now, the brochure to me is an excellent example of okay, excellent example of information that is clear, that has a lot of clarity, and ISRO has mastered this principle. I mean, it has used this in various missions, Chandrayaan 3 being the latest one. During Chandrayaan 3 mission, if you have followed it, ISRO was very clear and concise, with its updates, whether it was press release, whether it was social media, the live broadcast. They just used very straightforward language. You could read it, you could relate to it, even if you're not a scientist, even if you're not an engineer, you would know what is happening there. Now, that is the clarity. That's the clarity we would expect, anyone would expect, in a document that they pick up. Okay. So everything that you read through this, you'll be able to get a lot of understanding of what was happening there. Then, let's move on to the next one, the precision part. Again, going back to ISRO, the precision was, it was evident in all the details there. Look into the mission parameters, look into the scientific data, that they provided. Everything was documented meticulously, right from, launch parameters to the spacecrafts, orbit insertion, to demonstrating, precision in both their calculations and communication. Look at it. I mean, the brochure is an excellent piece of work. You can just pick it up, read through it, and you'll get a complete understanding, including, when I gave this brochure to my daughter. She's in sixth standard, and and she had to write about the lunar mission. It just worked out. I mean, she was able to read through it. She was able to basically understand what was going in, and that's exactly what we expect in our documentation, irrespective of fact who the audience is, basic, intermediate, or advanced. It should cater to all the audience categories. Now, finally, the accuracy part. Now, that's again, whether it's the technical accuracy or the editorial accuracy, making it perfect is the last stage of, one of those, core principles of technical communication. Look at this document again. You would not find a single mistake, or a number that is not, that's not used, or that's probably not a part of that mission. It was technically accurate. You could read through it, you could make sense out of it. So how did ISRO get to this, and why is it that we still continue to see these issues in most of the help documentation? Right. The answer is that ISRO, usually, ISRO has a very good audience consideration. It basically excels in identifying those diverse backgrounds of its audience. Many a times, as technical communicators, we are not connected to our external audiences, but do we really put that effort to understand who our external audiences are? Do we actually go ahead and interview some of our internal audiences? That could be the testers, that could be the field application engineers. Do we spend time, go and talk to them and understand what are the pain points that they see in a documentation, and how can you basically improve your help documentation further? Now, this sets the groundwork to my next slide, which is shifting. I'm sorry about this, let me just see. Okay, oops, sorry. Sorry. Okay. So this basically sets up the groundwork to what we can actually do to basically address those problems. If you're doing it, great. If you guys are doing it, if anyone's doing it, awesome. But if you're not, then I just thought maybe I could actually, put these details here on the slide, because today, my slides, my talk is all about striking that balance. I'm not expecting you guys to leave that core principles out there. I mean, those definitely stay there, but with with those core principles, adhering to those core principles, how can you leverage what is available today? What is this excellent chat gpt or AI and all the other stuff that we have today, and how can you strike that balance? Okay, at any given point of time, 80% you would continue to be working on documentation, but then I would expect you to spend your other 20% in exploring these excellent, initiatives in, and tools and technologies, and see how you can bring in that balancing act, how you can strike that balancing act. So for this session, I would like to keep it short. I've identified a couple of areas that basically I would expect a technical communicator to pay some attention to, so that he can take his or her work, his or her deliverable to that next level. Okay, the whole balancing act. The first one being the interactive documentation. Okay, now our documents have been they evolved from Notepad to Microsoft Word document, and then they moved on to FrameMaker. Now, I remember working on Syntax Serna, which was somewhere, the initial forms of Oxygen XML, ArborText, and then Oxygen XML. And now I'm seeing a different tool coming up in the market, and it continues to evolve. So the way we are writing information definitely has evolved. However, what actually went in the document continues to stay the same. It's still monotonous. It's still like, oh, open, read for yourself. Oh, okay, it's all paragraphs, it's all graphics, it's all tables there. Okay, can we do something better about it? Can we bring some interactivity, amongst our documentation? And one good example of interactivity is Stripe Docs. I don't know how many of you have heard about Stripe, but this is it basically helps you have credit card payments or online payments added to your web domains, or when you actually have an online business and you want to basically have the credit card and transactions, financial transactions added to your site. Stripe basically helps you get that done. They have some ready-made stuff. But if you actually, if you go and look into their documentation, they just don't tell you uh, what the documentation is just like. They basically take you through the whole steps, right? I mean, they basically tell you, okay, here's the code. Go ahead and try it. Okay, so you basically are not just reading information here. You can actually download the full app. You can set up the server based on where you want to set it up. What are you basically doing here? So some kind of interactivity. I mean, it's not just read through. You have various SDKs, the various architectures here, various front ends, various back ends to select, and just click on it, and now your code automatically automatically changes to that specific front end that you've just selected. Okay, so a lot of interactivity, a lot of openness, a lot of configuration that you can actually see, and then the code changes right in front of you, and you can download that updated code based on certain parameters here. So do you actually see this? So you basically have color settings here. You select this color and your code automatically changes to the color that you just selected. So a lot of interactivity happening here. You're not telling customer how to do it, but you're actually giving him a way to do things. How cool is that? Right? So they've actually evolved their documentation from just being paragraphs and graphics and images and tables and references to interactive, to basically help customers get what they need, configure it right while they're reading the information, take it and move on. Okay, no, imagine the amount of the reduction in tech support calls, when you actually have a help like this. Well, that's interactive. I felt that was a great example for interactive documentation. I have it bookmarked, and I thought I'll actually share this bookmark with you all. And then moving further on, I think our content, uh, things are evolving. I mean, Ganesh just showed you how ChatGPT basically identifies what you need, and then it gives you information based on what you need, rather than just giving you information because you as technical communicator thought that was the best thing to give to customers. Okay, so we need more adaptive content. The example here on the screen that I have here is when you are using that information on a laptop, the instruction should change to click a button. But when the same information is accessed over a tablet, the information should say tap, a button. And then when you're using the same information when you're driving, maybe, GPS or your Android Auto, it should probably say select, something. So it's the same information, but then a couple of words get adapted because of the frame, the device you're looking at, as well as the work that you're basically doing on that device. Okay, now adaptive content can be in certain context can also be confused with intelligent content or responsive content, because we have some websites which basically change their look and feel based on which device you access them on. I mean, HTML5 is a great example. Oxygen Web Help is HTML5 based help deliverable. It kind of like, the minute you're looking at it from your mobile phone, it looks different. In a tablet, it looks different. On a laptop, it looks different. Now, that's responsive content, okay, because it's just changing the interface. The content itself is not changing. It's just the layout that's changing. But what we need is more adaptive content. And you can reach out to an adaptive content only when you actually have, understanding of what the user is expecting. This is where the AI driven chatbots come into picture, where they ask you questions, where they probe further, and and then you basically and then it actually tries to do some work in the background and gives you information. So what Ganesh showed you, the content gem chatbot that he showed you is a good example of how content can be adaptive. And yes, this is going to be the market. This is going to be the place where you will see more and more of such adaptive contents coming out in the market. So better be prepared. I provided a cross reference to an excellent article which basically gives clear information on what this adaptive content is all about. It's an article written way back in 2016, so it's not a new concept. It has been there. Mostly, theoretically, there have been a lot of papers written on it, but now we are seeing it live. We are actually experiencing it. The third format that I feel, one we should actually be start thinking towards is, and again, all of this depends on depends on various factors like the domain you're working on, the kind of user, or the audience that you're basically catering to, your corporate, guidelines and so on. So at any given point of time, you'll not be able to implement all of this in your help structure, you'll actually have to do a lot of work, research, talk to your stakeholders, and see what of which of these new cool things in help documentation could actually best fit in your work deliverables. So another example here is gamification. I mean, it's I love games. I mean, but and it would be great to basically learn something while playing games. While answering a trivia, and learning data basically does that, right? I'm not sure how many of you have actually gone through this, but this is an excellent website to learn data. I kind of like keep going to it, take the courses. It is free of cost. You don't have to pay a penny. And the course list is right up front here. You can just right away go ahead and start taking your course. Let me click on introduction to data here, and I'll show you what I mean by gamification. So do you see this? The course content is not right up on your, up front on the screen. It's not showing you paragraphs and images and all that stuff. It's basically, it's basically telling you what the information is like, what the content is gonna be like, and it also has assessment at the end. So while you're reading, it actually is tracking your learning. It's a checklist kind of an approach, and then you have an assessment which basically helps you be confident on what you've actually learned. It basically is like you testing yourself and answering those questions. Trust me, it's really fun. You should go ahead and give it a try. This is an excellent example of gamification.
We have 5 more minutes, Saman. Yeah, just
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. And then I have these other stuff as well. We have augmented and virtual reality. Apple is coming up with Vision Pro, and it has an excellent documentation. I provided a link to one of their guided tours, and then you can further look into their documentation as well, which forms a great example. Natural language processing. We've already heard this from Gyanesh. ChatGPT is based out of natural language processing. You can ask questions as a human being, and it kind of like understands what you're asking many times and then responds back. A great example of that, and I've already had this session, is Oxygen AI Positron plugin. You can install this plugin. It's paid now, and subscribe to it, and then start playing with it. Then you have the collaborative platforms. These are interesting ones, and I'm actually exploring them a lot these days. It's more like asking your customer to contribute to your documentation. Oxygen does that great. They have this edit online feature where you just need to have an access to their just have a GitHub account. It takes you to that page, and then you can actually go ahead and edit this page online. Of course, it doesn't go live. There are writers who said, who are behind the screen, who will evaluate your data, and then, based on what you've provided, if that kind of like makes sense, they'll go ahead and publish it. You also have, a comment section here on their page where you can actually add a comment and then track what's happening. So the writer also gets to see who's actually adding a comment and what's going on in there. So that's again another collaborative. So you want to go there, engage your customers and get more details from them, well, go ahead and try doing that. Then finally, I have the accessibility features here. I'm not sure how many of you have actually heard, but I kind of like advocate accessibility because there are people who basically have different needs, and it is important that our information kind of like fits or at least help those individuals too. Barclays actually does an excellent job of bringing in accessibility to their health documentation and their website, and I've actually added a link here so you can go through it and see how that works. There are a couple of other links that I've added here, which I think will be great resources for you to go through and learn more about these shifting landscape and balancing act topic. Um, I don't know how many of you. I know it's gonna be some time while you actually read it, but this is a list from my resume, and it kind of like lists down pretty much everything that I've encountered so far. And the list is, I mean, it's fine tuned. Okay, But then the idea here is how do we adapt to this change, right? I mean, that's coming up. What do you need to do as technical communicator to basically be prepared, to basically understand? Now, all of this is great. I'm sharing something, Ganesh is, and the next presenter is definitely going to share something more interesting with AI. But how do we prepare ourselves? Now, the ask here is to basically develop your technical proficiency, probably try and look into these programming languages, lightweight markup languages, and so on. It's again, not a must, but a good to have, skill set. And it is not just to what is mentioned here on the screen, but it can be more depending on the domain and the work that you're doing. But I feel like one should be prepared through these various changes, these different skill sets. Programming and scripting, user experience design is great. And to what I understand is TWT has been constantly trying to provide sessions on all of these topics in one way or other. You'll actually have some sessions on, I remember some session on user experience design, content strategy, and so on. So please continue to watch the TWT space for new sessions, because collaboration and communication and continuous learning is a critical piece for you to get into that change, to be prepared for that change. Finally, questions? If you have any, I'm sorry I did not look into the chat bot, the Teams chat, so I did not see any of your questions. But if I know I have a couple of minutes, hopefully, and I can answer one or two, but I'll definitely get back to you in case there are more.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at one question here from Amol as to how do you consider usage of videos in new landscape? Videos are great. So when I went to AI, there's a tool, Anime AI, and I said, hey, I have a session on this topic. Could you basically help me create a video? And it did a fabulous job of creating it. Okay, and I've actually added it to my presentation. It's a 3-minute video. I don't know if I have time to basically play this now, but you can definitely leverage AI to get at least a video. It can actually put things together. Not that you can share it to public or make it production, but it at least gives you an idea. It at least gives you a stage where you can look at that video and see, oh, okay, this is good. I can probably try something with my corporate resources and put this video together. I can fine tune that text, and yes, you can actually do that. Think it's a paid tool. Since I have a premium membership, I was able to actually get this done. I had 10 credits, I believe. I believe they give 10 credits, so you could probably create 10 videos. And the first person, then you'll probably have to buy this. So yes, videos definitely, yes, they do help, and people love videos because they kind of like help them get through things done faster than reading.
Okay, may I ask one question
Sure, Praneeth.
if we don't have any other question? So, yes, the trends, AI, Chat GPT, I mean, it's no more the current trend. It's already been there for more than a year now. So, Aman, primarily from your session, one question for others.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not so good in AI. Fair enough.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm scared of all these things. Can I
Hmm.
still survive as a technical writer?
Yes. Yes, you can. Because as a technical communicator, let's talk about technical communicator rather than a writer, because there are different terminologies used in market. As a technical communicator, and I mentioned before, 80% of your job, your bread and butter is writing. Okay. You know your domain better than ChatGPT. ChatGPT will need time to understand you. It is great. It is good. It is actually an helpful aid, but it definitely cannot replace humans, at least not anytime soon. So yes, you can survive. You have time now. If you start now, you would definitely be able to leverage AI and be able to find your place in this, in this new world, and continue to move on. But it's up to you to decide, if you're ready to, take that step and move forward.
Certainly. Great. Thank you. That helps.
Sure.
Ravi, you're on mute.
Yeah, I hear someone is trying to talk. Okay. Uh, is anyone else any questions to ask to Aman?
I have a question.
Sure,
Yeah.
Preeti.
What if a person is from a non-technical background, like he's not having any programming language skills,
Hmm.
so can he or she survive?
Yes. Yes, he or she can definitely survive. There are a couple of links here in my in my presentation. One of them is really interesting. Now, I know that you've heard about chatbot from Gyanesh, and he was talking about how you need a premium membership. But there is an article, an excellent one on Oxygen blog, which basically tells you how to use Google Dialogflow chatbot and your data content, to basically generate a chatbot, all by yourself. Now, this is all, the instructions are all here. You don't need ChatGPT to do this. You will be able to convert your information and run it and see it live. Of course, this is not connected to any AI, so it will only answer questions that you provided. But it's a good starting point. At least you would understand what a ChatGPT does, and you could probably, anyone can play with this instruction. You don't have to be technical to do this. Instructions are like self-explanatory. Go ahead, give it a try, and you will, at some point of time, you have to understand what a chatbot is, right? I mean, yes, you're not technical, but you'll have to have that understanding to continue to, survive further, because these will impact your life one way or other, sooner or later. So it's better we start working towards it. Take small steps now, like, learn, learn a markup language, put some time in learning Python. Yes, it's gonna be, overwhelming, but take it slow. Take those small sessions in between, and understand what it does. Right, small programs, play with it just like you play a game, and then see, you will actually find it more exciting, and you will probably be more comfortable with these terms than than you're now, because as I said, it's all up to you. You have to take that step forward, and I think you should start doing it now if you haven't done that. But yes, you will definitely survive. Writers, communicators have their own core skill. I've seen some excellent writers who have defeated ChatGPT in some of those assignments that I've been working on. So they did a better job than the ChatGPT. Of course, ChatGPT is learning, and so are human beings. So, yeah, the replacement part is only when you do not take that step and you think, oh, I cannot do this. Well, someone else will do it for you. And if not a human, then ChatGPT.
Thank you.
Sure.
I think we're done with questions. Is anyone else there? Last question. Okay, someone Path saying, how would you use gamification in technical documents?
I have a great example here. The learning data example, why don't you just go through it? It is technical. Learning about data is not theoretical. It is technical. There are a lot of elements and attributes that you need to learn through. So they're doing an excellent job of teaching you how to use data, while still playing games. So you should actually go through learning data by Scriptorium and see how technical information can be gamified.
Okay, great. So yeah, this is a really great session, and like once again, I understood from Aman in your presentations that we need to be upgrading ourselves and up our game. Like yeah, we should improve our knowledge and also keep ourselves engaged to the world, like whatever is coming, and apply it to the technical writing field, whichever domain we are. So once again, that's what I learned from your session, and today is the same, and uh, even more engaging. Yeah, so thank you, Aman, for the great session, and also can can you share this presentation links?
I'll share the presentation with the
Yeah,
support email
yeah,
group. Yes, I will do that.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Aman,
Sure.
once again for joining
Thank
with
you.
us.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Aman. Yeah.
Thank you.
Next over to you, Priti.
Thank you, Ravi. So after a very insightful session by Amandeep and Gyanesh, let's move on to our next session by Kumar Vaibhav on the topic Unlocking the Potential of AI in Documentation. So, Kumar Vaibhav is a principal technical writer in Safe Security Delhi, and he is a seasoned technical writer, product specialist who brings a wealth of experience in product management, digital adoption, and comprehensive documentation. He is proficient in a diverse set of tools and methodologies, and he thrives in dynamic environments, consistently improving documentation and training efforts. And he is dedicated in establishing robust processes and implementing best practices, ensuring excellence from project initiation to ongoing maintenance. And so he will be taking us through the potential of AI in documentation. So let's welcome Kumar Vaibhav. Over to you, Vaibhav.
Yep, thank you, Priti, Ravi, and Gyanesh, Aman, for the previous sessions. It was insightful. Hope you can listen me, right? Loud and clear. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So it was a great day to start with Gyanesh session, and there we have already he has said the context, what is ChatGPT, LLM, and NLP, NLPs. So I'm going to present the application, how you can implement those things for your documentation side, right? So can anybody say like have anyone implemented ChatGPT kind of stuff? We can say like it's a doc GPT kind of stuff for your knowledge base where people can go and search and leverage the conversational AI to get the answers and ask the following questions to get more and more drill down knowledge about the product. So is there anyone who has implemented till now, or is it live for your customers? Okay, Amandeep has implemented. So I have also done recently, and my complete session is on that itself. So let me share my screen. Let me know when you can see this. Correct. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So today I'm, as Preeti has already introduced me, I am Kumar Vaibhav joining from Delhi on this in this conference, and working as principal technical writer, carries more than 13 years of experience in this field itself. I worked for many Fortune 500 companies. Currently, from last 5 years, I'm with Safe Security itself. It is in a cyber security background where the knowledge is the main thing about the product. Product knowledge is the main thing to increase its usability, because it's a kind of new product. We are creating a new category of product which is based for the cyber risk quantification for your dollar value risk, and it is for CISOs and all, right? So whenever you are working on these kind of products, you should publish possible documentation to increase the knowledge base and create a community. So online you can go and search for FAIR community that belongs to us, and that is the base for cyber risk quantification in dollar value risk. So anytime you can. So for today, what I'm going to present is how AI we have talked about, Gyanesh has talked about the bots and all, but how you can implement this for implement the bot for your documentation space that I'm going to demo. So basic things already covered by the previous speakers, like AI chatbots are designed to simulate conversation with human users, and they can really understand the ask and answer the questions based on those asks, right? And it utilizes LLM and NLPs, so you already know these things, and we can continuously train our prompt engineering our bots, whatever we are creating, put the guardrails there, not what not to answer, because ChatGPT has like a ton of knowledge, but we don't want to answer. Whenever you are implementing any GPT kind of things in your professional world, you should be very careful what not to answer. What to answer is the other thing, what not to answer is the other thing for your bot, right? So machine learning context awareness, like it retains the context and multifunction capabilities, like customer. Definitely, I can see the reduction in our customer support tickets, the technical support tickets after implementing it. Information retrieval was made easy. Task automation we have done, like feedback module we have implemented there. So those are the basic stuff. So why a documentation chatbot is needed? So first of all, like efficient information retrieval, because if you have like hundreds of integration guides and hundred of knowledge base articles, and there you have to find some limitations or user permission kind of thing. So you directly write a question, whether we're not going to search or find going page by page if your like URL is not mapped to your documentation site, right? So there it's like very easy. You ask question, get the answer. User engagement also is high. So we measure the Dow-Mow ratio, that is the stickiness, and product engagement score as well. So there we have also seen a jump on the documentation bot, and people are using it. Support cost, yeah, definitely. If you are able to reduce at least two customer support engineers work, then like it's of implementing the bots and data collection and analytics. That is the main important part. Whenever you have the doc site, right, there you don't know like whether what are the question people want to ask or want the information, but they were not able to find it through the search or whenever, and they are not giving you the feedback on that, because many people has started searching and not got the answer for that in your knowledge base, and then they are not sending you the feedback because people writing things, right, as a user. So how to capture those things, like people has asked something and not found the answer, and that question come to you like this got unanswered, right? So that's the data collection to enrich your uh, that is also an important part. So for these things we can utilize the AI chat and process it. So with chatbot platform we should use. So we have ChatGPT, we have Bard, we have LLMA by Meta, and Grok by Twitter X. Gyanesh has already talked about that. So today means for me, I am using the ChatGPT APIs only, not the Bard and LLMA. So because that was accessible and tried tested, so we started utilizing it. So whatever Gyanesh has given the demo, that was making your own bots. The same thing is over. There are so many companies that provide you the capabilities. Code platform where you can create your own bot, train it with your data, put the guardrails. What provide analytics on that. So we had like went through and uh, researched and analysis, and then we come up with the report. Uh, Product GPT also we are working on, that is under process, but have utility. Here is you can see like one you all. start going productivity box AI where you can, it's not opening, I don't know. It should open in thing. So here you can find all the products. Yeah, here you can see all the products that can be used as chatbot. So you can go through this link, read the pros and cons, and select based on your requirement. If you are not creating your own bot based on GPT. So these all this all bots require your ChatGPT APIs. Ask for APIs to your infrastructure team, cloud team. They will already have and use the same. So how it looks like after implementing. So this is the safe documentation. We have the resource center over here, and you can see the question and answer. Like how can I create personalized dashboard? We have the custom dashboard functionality, and it is giving answer. Even it supports the screenshots and all. So that's the capability. Going on the, so let's go and create a bot on the docs bot, and then I will go more in detail. First of all, let's see how it looks. So here I am going to present my product itself. So this is the dev environment, and I'm doing the things here. 1 minute. Okay. How it will go away. Okay. So over here, I don't know what happens. Okay. Stop sharing. Why it's not moving. So you can see my screen, right? That meeting now thing is coming in between of my left navigation, right side. So you can see the safe documentation, and this is due to the internet speed, it's slow. Wait a minute, the loading of site was also slow today. Yep, ask me anything, and I have created a bot right in the product, and it has some pre-filled prompts what question you want to ask. So suppose, how can I integrate with AWS, right? And it will start giving you answer based on that. And what it goes does, it goes to docs.safe.security, my documentation website. There it have all the information about all the integrations guide, and based on the answer, the questions asked, it reply you. So this is the look and feel. You can ask the follow-up question, what are the permissions I need, and what are the known issues with this integration, what are the things we can the AWS to save, everything it can answer, right? So that's the implementation of our new means. One more thing what we are asking, we are doing is like implementing the GPT itself in the product we are creating. So suppose over here search bar we have what feature released in safe, right? So it's a GPT kind of thing we have created for our own, and due to the internet speed again, but yeah, latency is more. So here are the features. You don't and read the release notes, it will give you all the answers, right? So it gives the product information as well, like is my risk or likelihood, breach likelihood, everything. It first do the SQL query in the database. If it is not getting information, then the pre-filled information what we have from the content it is coming, that it will. Otherwise, it is not going to find the information on these both the places, then it will go and find the answer from the generic LLM data. So this is the I have made till now. For this, not the docs bot, but you can see over here the Visual Studio. We have permissions are coming from the content. Arrange the content in such a way like it should be readable by LLMs. So you can see like AWS information, how to integrate, everything is written over here, right? And for this, our documentation team is responsible to set the context and provide all the information it needs, right? So this was the like complex things.
Vaibhav, you're left with 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So going on the demo part, like how you can utilize the docsbot.ai. So over here, if you will see, this is the bot, and suppose ask question, this is the bot I have created. So whenever you will go to create a bot, you have to just go click the plus button and you have to add the source. Whenever you click the add source, you will have see the options available: URL, document, WordPress, sitemap. Means only if I have the docs.save.security, only one URL I have to put, and it will map every information and many information we have, right? But those are all in the form of white papers, those the blog post kind of thing, right? So just map your company website, like safe.security. I have mapped, and that information also now available. All the PDFs, all the things hosted there. It will be a part of the knowledge input source data for your bot, and it can answer based on that as well, right? And you can see the number of things available here. Gendesk and all, it integrates with everything. Even it supports the like you can say the screenshots, and also in a small window, the chat window, it can show you all the screenshots as well. And you can personalize it, like, and create the widget embed code and embed it to your website or wherever it is possible, right? So that's that with that. And you can, the main thing is like, the important thing is sharing an API. If you will go, this is also very important. So over here you can just manage the access, public access, or it is having the like which API model it opens, what are the suggested question, what is the rate limiting. That is the important, because someone is not abusing your bot, and what are the warning messages you want to put. That is also, and default prompts, if you want to put the guardrails, how it should answer, how it should deny the things, everything you can like put over here. This is a very easy no code platform where you can create your own bot, provide the widget to your front end team, and they can ingest it into your application, right? So so that's that. The next thing is the logs. That is the important. So suppose you have to get knowledge, like what question it has answered or what answer went wrong. So over here, if you will see the logs, you will have all the questions and the answer given by it over here. You can rate your answer whether it is correct or wrong, or even if you want to modify the reply, right? Delete or revise answer, right? You can revise the answer and train your bot. So training is the part that takes time. You have to 100 question. I my organization from sales, pre-sales, marketing, everyone to ask question and get the answer. If you are not liking the answer, just thumbs down, and then collect the data and then train accordingly, right? So that mass exercise I have done for this. So part implementing your DocSpot. So yeah, that's that. I'm through with time. I think if any questions you have, you can ask.
Thank you, Vaibhav, for that documentation bot and giving such informative information on that. So it was a good session. So we have one question like, what is the pricing model of bot vendor?
It is $100 a month. It is not going to cost you more than your support representative if you are cutting down even a single. So $100 per month for DocsBot AI, but approximately other bots AI are also like similar kind of thing, $80 to $120. It's not that much. And if you are going able to, if you have engineering effort and you want to create the next project I am working on, I have shown you, like I'm doing the codes on the Visual Studio and pushing the through the content. So it can not limited to only the documentation side, even the product side. Like it will go and do the SQL query in DB and get the answers, right? So a unified search bar that can be conversational and providing you the answer about your product, right? That's our theme next project.
Thank you.
So I can take questions on chat if you one time. Thanks for this.
I think Shrutika has a question. Shrutika has raised her hand.
Yes, Puneet.
No.
So I think Akash and myself, we both had the same question with respect to security and getting your leadership on board with this initiative, because most organizations heavily restrict use of AI, even for their employees. Putting something like this up is, I think, is a far-fetched idea for most of us.
So company is on the AI itself. Our product URL itself is safe1.ai. So on that front, we had a and we are from the cybersecurity, right? So we have done through analysis. Our SecOps team went and done the analysis. We have put vendor management in risk management platform as well, where we have done all the digital footprinting and inside out and outside both assess this company before using it, and we found no issues till you are putting all the publicly available data. So suppose docs.safe.security, my knowledge base, and safe.security is a public domain, right? For everyone. So publicly available information, if you are putting in a bot or you are putting in a glass, it not matters, right? So with those kind of things, like consider it got approved, and I don't think so there is a problem. Otherwise, everyone would not have started using. But where we have our product thing coming in, we are creating our own GPT, right? So that's the main thing. But for documentation, I don't think so. For very new startup or emerging company where they have the secret sauces, they should not. But the enterprise kind of thing, and if you have all the information publicly available, you should go ahead and create, because you are going to save the effort, and by that way you can also monetize your documentation website with the customers if they want the support, like live support using LLMs, right?
Got it. Thanks, Vaibhav, for answering that.
I have a question. So how long does it take to train the bot to have a reasonably, good answers?
Yep, Pradeep, training is the main part. Putting the guardrails is the second part, and the speed depends on the crowdsourcing, what you can do, right? So if you want to really achieve it, prepare 200 questions through these questions to everyone in the company, what I have done, and evaluate the answer on daily basis. Within 15 to 20 days, you will be able to have the confidence to make it public for everyone. But if you are doing only that's not the right way to go, because exercise.
Sorry, yeah. So you're saying 200 questions per product, is it?
Yeah, 200 questions per product. If you can come up with a list, is 50, 100 is more than enough, because mostly it will be the repetition. But yeah, different course. Like an architects, engineer.
Kumar, I think your screen is frozen.
Vaibhav, your video is
Yeah, your screen is freezed.
So Ravi,
Okay.
do we have any more questions?
I think we don't have any more questions.
I think think this is answered by Syed. Does the end users who use the chatbot need to pay? I think this is done.
No. End user don't have to pay anything for that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I have one follow-up question to Kumar. So we have ours is a enterprise level sort of a company. We have maybe more than maybe 500 products, like huge ones. So just tagging along our documentation website. I don't know how useful it would be, because 500 into 200 questions and training the bot. Do you think that's still going to be feasible, Kumar?
Yeah, it is feasible, because product-wise, what you can create not a single you should utilize for answer, because it may be like the difference in the context and the end users. Like you can create like a bot. All the documentation means the knowledge base has all the product in space, or it is different. If it is like within the same, like it will be difficult to train. It will take time. It depends on the size as well. That's the main thing. But if you are utilizing the bot for each product as a separate bot, that will be the better thing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhav.
Thanks. Happy to take questions on chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaibhav, Amandeep, and Gyanesh. We had a lot of learning, knowledge sharing, and informative sessions by our leaders. And I hope everyone will implement all these learnings in our current organization and build those in our day-to-day life, as the trends are going on these days. And I hope it will be helpful in our workplace, and definitely it's a great learning. Thank you once again to all our leaders who came up with all these interesting topics. Over to you, Ravi.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you all, Gyanesh, Aman, and Vaibhav, for your insightful sessions. And so this marks the end of the presentations part, as part of our half-day conference. And now we are heading towards the panel discussions. And we have 3 panelists joining with us to take part in the panel discussion. And first panelist we have here is Mridula Menon. She's a senior manager working at Grey Orange, Bengaluru. She has a rich experience in product development, content development, and in BI in the SAS domain, has enabled her to explore various roles in her work life. And as a goal-oriented and customer-centric content leader and strategist, she hones her teams to champion innovative ways to manage information and bring about customer success and satisfaction. As a senior manager of information development at Grey Orange, she heads a content team that engages with SAS applications, AI, robotics, SCM, warehouse management systems, and hardware. Um, yeah. Welcome, Mridula Menon, for the panel.
Thank you. So for the panel discussion, we have Mr. RaviKumar B. He is the Executive Product Manager at Intellect Design Arena, Chennai. So he's a seasoned professional in technical writing, e-learning, and product management. And though he started his career as a programmer, he moved to technical writing in 2001, and he has never looked back since then. And in his recent employment, he has handled product documentation, testing, training, and pre-sales. And in his spare time, he enjoys philately, photography, and long rides and drives. So he enjoys creating both the short form and long form contents and posting those on his social media profiles. And he has won a lot of awards and certificates at society, state, and national levels for his stamp exhibits. I'm sure RaviKumar would love to take us on a long drive or short drive when he's in Hyderabad next time.
Yeah, I would love
So,
to.
welcome, Ravi. Ravi, you are on mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We have a third panelist here, Shrutika Dhake. She is working as manager in Quest Software in Mumbai. For the past 14 years, Shrutika has been making lives easy on one piece of content at a time. She specializes in documenting products from scratch, revamping existing document sets, and UX writing. She enjoys challenges and at her current organization took it upon herself to migrate the entire documentation set consisting of our products to MATLAB Flare from scratch. With MATLAB Flare, she specializes in setting up doc environments, designing sites, creating styles and templates, and creating content. Welcome, Shrutika, for the panel, and hope you all three have a great panel discussion here. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Ravi.
And now we welcome our MC, none other than Mr. Puneet Srivastava. As we all know, he's the director of Tech Writers Tribe with 23 plus years of experience in technical documentation, and he's based out of Hyderabad. And he's the backbone of TWT. And I welcome him. And over to you, Puneet. Let's start the session.
Let's get started. Thank you so much, Preeti and Ravi, for welcoming me and welcoming all the panelists. And so what a day, actually, the topic AI trends and all. And we have actually presenters, if you exclude me, presenters overall from how many? 6 different cities of India. So probably we can see the voices of different parts of India. So that's amazing. And yes, I, Preeti and Ravi are based in Hyderabad. Okay, so let's get started. And so thank you, Shrutika, Mridula, and Ravi Kumar for joining. Ravi, just for the sake of this conversation, can I call you Ravi in between? Because every time saying Ravi Kumar will be a bit longer for me.
sure.
So, yeah. Okay, great. So let's get started. So thank you everyone for joining. Now, as for the topic is concerned, the trends in 2024 for tech writers and the doc teams to follow. So before I start questioning, having some question on that, and I won't go with the normal frame of, asking you all to introduce, and these people have already done that. I would rather jump into another question because all of you are very experienced. You have seen this industry at least for a minimum of 10 to 15 years, I can say, all of you in your personal career.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very basic question based on your experience. Does trend matter in technical documentation? You must have seen in the past, that so many things came up as people called it trends and all that. Okay, this is going to change the world, like all those Bollywood, Hollywood movies. America is in danger and now you have to save the world, So many trends came. So in your thought, what do you think? And if so, I would like to know that. Mridula.
Yeah. So let me just, quote an anecdote that how many of us would love to keep on watching Doordarshan? Maybe no one. So, even in entertainment industry, we have, come a long way. So if we are not catching up with trends, if we are not keeping up with trends, soon will be kicked out of the game. So even when it comes to tech writing, if we feel that, yes, we have completed 10, 15 years in the industry and we know everything, then we will be in a fool's paradise. So, despite having, more than 20 years of experience, I was just telling my team member the other day, it is very important to invest at least 30 minutes of your time on a daily basis, because you are in the writing industry, to just go ahead and read the trends. Even if you're not reading about the trends, just pick up some course that is relevant to our domain and keep learning. That is the only way you can keep up with the trend. And you will see that more and more new writers are coming into the field. Not only you can learn from them, you can even teach them if you are keeping up with the trend. So keeping up with the trend is very, very important. It's not an option, it is compulsory.
Sorry, I have one comment.
Golden words, and I will have an example which I will talk about later. Okay, so Shrutika,
I had
any
one.
thoughts?
Hello. I had one comment
we comment
about.
we will come to a bit later. Let me talk to the panelists first.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Shrutika, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I not only second, I completely agree with Mridula. Uh, like she said, it would be like living in a fool's paradise if we don't keep up with the trends. And see, these trends do affect the way content is consumed, created, distributed, and consumed. So it only makes sense to keep up with these trends. And so, Bill Gates had written an essay in 1996 or so, where he said, and the essay itself was titled as "Content is King." I know this is no longer appropriate to say, using king as a generic term is no longer appropriate to say. But then in his essay, he had written that content is where I expect much of the real money to be made on the internet. And see what internet did. It disrupted the way content was created. It disrupted the way people consumed content, isn't it? That's the simplest example, and a very hard relate kind of example. So uh, these trends do impact the technical documentation world, and it's very important to keep up with the trends, even if we are not learning everything. Even if we are not able to implement all these trends, it's very important, in my opinion, to stay abreast with all these trends.
Awesome. So yeah, Ravi,
Yeah.
your thoughts?
Yes. Like Mridula and Shrutika mentioned, it's very mandatory, and it's not enough just to know the trend. You have to be using it or be aware of it. You should have more hands-on. Like 10 years before, I was not creating videos, but today I only creating videos. So at the time, I didn't realize that I'll be creating videos, but today it's a necessary. Not everyone would like to read a Word document or a PDF. They want to see something live in action, and they want short form of information which may not be possible in a document. So we need to keep abreast of what is being required or what is being desired. Basically, what if you want to reflect upon what Mridula or Sutika is, if we are having the desire to make it easier for others, then we'll be in the trend.
Wonderful. So I know this question was not a double-edged question. It was a one-sided, and it has only one answer. Yes, 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 it is required. But still, this question for audience, this question is not a stupid question. In case you have been interacting with the technical writers across the community, we have come across people, and you have heard about multiple layoffs, not about smaller companies, bigger companies I am talking about. And I am talking about people who have hold the experience of 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And in one company, minimum 5 years. I'm talking about such people. Senior, forget about senior technical writer. I'm talking about staff, principal, and at times managers also. People when work in their organization, especially the big organizations, they feel they are untouchable. Nobody can touch them. They never think about trends like our three leaders are talking about. They don't even bother to scroll through LinkedIn, forget about reading news articles. Suddenly they have to swim. They are forced to swim. They don't know how to swim despite the career resume saying 15 years of experience and 20 years of experience, because like one of them said, trends keep changing. By the time you spent 5 to 10 years in one organization and you came out of it, trend changed so much that you don't know where to find a job and how to find a job. So yes, like all of them said, certainly agree. You don't only need to know about the trends, you need to practice it also, even if you are not using it in your own organization. So thank you. And so continuing on that, so if we talk about past trends before we come to 2024, what exactly they need to know, just to get audience familiarity with some trends. So some trends in the past in technical documentation industry, you can name which emerged and people followed actually. Maybe one or two names. Shrutika, you can start with this. Anyone?
So like Ravi mentioned, videos, creating bite-sized content. People like to consume content fast. They want answers fast. So that is one trend that people I see even today, although it has been in place for so long. I mean, I started working as a technical writer around 14 years back, and at that time also people were talking about creating videos, bite-sized content, and it has still been going on. People still talk about it. People still want to create. So that is one trend that has never gone out of fashion, or that has not died. So that's one trend that has
Yeah,
been here.
probably getting stronger every year, at least for technical
Yes,
documentation field.
yes,
More and
definitely.
more teams are trying to implement it. Ravi,
Yeah.
yeah, you talked about video, which she grabbed. Any other thing you have?
Um, Several things actually. I will just talk few no important ones, which hasn't changed is uh, as a writer, I should be always curious. You should have the ability to learn. The fundamentals has not changed, even though the trends keep changing. The fundamentals has not changed. You should uh, able to have the capability to explain things in simple way. And how do you do that? You need to be a little bit curious about what is happening within the product or within the organization and what is being decided and all that. So that thing has not changed. And as a writer, you should have some analytic skills that is necessary, which have wearing several hats, right? You use the software, understand it, why it is being used, who is going to use it, how it is going to help them. Those kind of skills will remain the same whether we have AI 10 years down the line. Those fundamental skills will not change. Like Aman said, right? Accuracy, crisp writing and all that. We should be just hone your skills and all that.
Wonderful. So if I can use catching it from the filmy version, evergreen heroes and heroines. So there are like evergreen trends, probably in our field. So whatever comes and goes, but these evergreen things, these are the basic things, people. So whether you are a writer or whether you are a leader, probably you must have it always. How about you, Mridula? You want to add something? Mute,
You're on
mute,
mute.
mute.
Yes, sorry about that. So one thing that has really caught on is the DAP, which is the Digital Adoption Platform. Whichever app you explore, automatically a pop-up comes, giving you the option of a walkthrough. Hand holding. So digital adoption platform is catching up really fast across multiple platforms, mainly because it has been recognized that people do not want to sift through long documents. They are either going for videos, and still better, they want guidance immediately when they're using the app. And that is making DAP extremely popular. And just for the benefit of the audience, two very popular DAP is WhatFix and WalkMe, two of the popular ones.
Just want to add to Mridula's thing. WhatFix, I have tried their evaluation version. It even creates some content, some draft content, which you can format and publish.
Correct.
Oh. So like AI integrated,
Yeah.
if you can say, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
awesome. Okay, so I think apart from it's very good to not hear about general product documentation. I think at this stage in 2024, we can consider that, okay, creating user manuals and general product documentation. Actually, it's not even worth talking about because it's just your basic role. If somebody is doing it, you're not doing a favor to the world. You're just doing a favor to yourself if you're good at it. Otherwise, you have a lot many things that can be considered as trends, and that's what you can make a pick which one suits you and try it one by one. So those were the things. And how about coming to 2024? The same applies or anything else you would like to add? Now, if we talk about 2024 and we talk about not only individual contributors, because we know how important role a manager plays in today's world. Okay. It's not about just getting the documentation project done. That's not the only job of a manager. So for both, considering the doc teams plus the individual contributors in 2024, what do you think people should follow? We can start with Ravi.
Yeah. What I've seen in the past 3-4 years and for going to see is people or the management expects people to collaborate more and be open to writing.
Ravi, your screen got stuck, I guess, or is it me only? Ravi.
We can't hear you.
Okay, so let's continue with Mridula. Let Ravi be back. Mridula, your thoughts.
Yeah. So I just mentioned about DAP, and also Gyanesh and Amandeep and Vaibhav. Everybody talked about chatbots also. So one thing common between these two are the conversational way of writing. Now, I recently conducted a session for a group of technical writers on how to write for DAP. So that is a part of, you can say it's a kind of a hybrid UX writing. So it applies the principle of UX writing, but then it is writing for the digital adoption platform. So in 2024, what I would like to see tech writers picking up more on is conversational writing. Now it is easier said than done, because during one of the session, I just asked them to write an imaginary conversation. You don't have to write anything technical, just imaginary conversation. And perhaps if I'm trying to hire somebody for the DAP that will be implemented at my organization, this is something I would ask in an interview also, like for written round, that just write an imaginary conversation between you and your friend on a specific topic. So what I found is that although we can pick up a phone and talk very eloquently with a friend, just imagining that conversation and writing it on paper for a technical writer is challenging. Unless that writer is involved in script writing or some form of drama, and I'm not joking here, because it is some people do involve in such things and they can write very well, or even story writing. So such technical writers can write very beautiful conversations, but for others it's a challenge. So in 2024, I would really like to see a hardcore technical writer exploring conversational style.
Wonderful. I assume many organizations are already following it. So
Yes.
soon it's going to be a demand. Great. Yeah, you want to continue?
Yeah, sorry, I got logged off while as I was speaking. Able to hear me, right?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So what I was, about, I think kind of reflects what Mridula has mentioned as well. People are looking for, small stories that are relevant to them in content, even in hardcore technical writing or technical documentation. This is being more, I found this, in the past 2-3 years in my the recent employment, people were asking for, even the management, they wanted some storytelling within the documentation because they found it boring. Now, as a writer, it is our responsibility to make people, at least our content should answer their queries or make them troubleshoot or help them, um, complete the task quickly, and then they can move on to other responsibilities and all that. So if you look at from that point of view, more like, a scenario based content is being asked for rather than just, how to overviews and, troubleshooting. They want something like a scenario, which may be possible in video, but I'm still, wondering how to do that in straightforward normal writing in a user guide. It may be possible in videos, small videos where you can start off with a scenario and then guide them through, how to achieve certain things. Or if it is a training material where you can, give some setup or set some context, something like a user scenario, or this is how the end user, some user personas go through daily, and how this solution or the product resolves it. So that kind of, scenario based or story writing is what we should be able to, catch up and get master at.
Yeah, and I think that probably syncs with, at least in the software world, where all the Jira tickets or whatever ticket you have, it's basically scenario. The product manager comes and writes the scenario, right?
Yep.
Generally, that's the
Yes.
use case they write, and developers and tech writers are supposed to frame the solution accordingly. Great points. Thank you. Shrutika, so yeah, you would like to add many more points, but yes, UX writing also, I think she is one of the best advocates I have met for UX writing. So yes, Shrutika, the trends and what? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so adding on to what Mridula and Ravi mentioned, conversational writing, of course, is very important. If you see MSTP, how it has evolved, MSTP was very hard bent on using certain rules in a certain way and in certain contexts. If you see the latest updates to MSTP, I was delighted. I was actually delighted that, okay, people will not throw MSTP in my face now when I ask them to change their style of writing, because that's like a Bible, right? So yeah, conversational writing, and then like Ravi mentioned, scenario-based content. These are the the you know basis that we need to develop on. These are very important going forward. But one thing that I want to mention here is the kind of user research that you need to do as technical writers to be able to write conversations, to be able to write scenarios, because not every user is same, right? You need to identify. And as technical writers, we are taught early on, know your audience. But what is knowing your audience? It is no longer simply knowing, the profile of your audience, whether they are uh, technically sound or not. That's not the case anymore. You have to work on researching in depth about your users. um, there are many tools available. There are many templates available. There are many um, workshop practice workshops available. I recently did one such for my team. My team is very small, but I keep dragging dragging them into these kind of things. So these are very important things to understand what your users need. Without that, you know, like Mridula said, not many technical writers are comfortable writing conversational content. Like Ravi mentioned, writing scenarios is not, it does not come easily to writers. We depend on product managers. We depend on, business side of the organization to understand these things. It's so in 2024, I would like to see writers, pick up user research skills, pick up collaboration skills, and learn how to understand your product from the business perspective as well. These are the things that I think are going to help
Great.
us as
Great,
a
great.
community.
That's another perspective. Awesome. Mridula, your hand is raised. You want to add something?
Yes, I just want to make a point because I stressed a lot on conversational writing. Now, exactly as Shrutika mentioned, that everything is not meant for everyone. So if you start using very fun words and make it very light for developer documentation, you're doing it with the best of your intent. You want the, the storytelling and the fun element and everything, but the developer will just, knock it off and they will not open the document ever again, because what they want in their the little time they have is just get to the matter. So when I'm stressing on conversational style, please know your audience and then you can implement it and vary how much you want to make it conversational. So if you are writing a document on something that caters to kids or pets, that will be a different level of conversational. Whereas if you are catering to, like my audience who will be operators and warehouse managers, you cannot have the same level of conversational there.
That's right.
Great point. Thank you. And so here we will actually open up for questions. We will not take up questions only in the end. So a break to them from my questions. And so audience, based on what we have discussed right now, do you have any questions or thoughts to share? Please go ahead. Vaibhav, I see your hand raised. You want to go ahead?
No. By mistake, it was.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, sure.
I think Pradeep has yeah, he has some question.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, the only one point I wanted to bring out is even though these trends keep coming and some trends keep going, and some people don't even remember some of the trends that we try to follow so eagerly sometime before. I think the enduring trends are what Amandeep actually mentioned some time back, like your accuracy, being very accurate, being the three things he said, right? The content being accurate, correctness, all that is very, very enduring. And even Mridula said, how many of you want to watch Doordarshan? But a lot of India, the rural areas, a lot of knowledge is still shared by Doordarshan itself, like your farmers. And the content is the king, and the trends, maybe they come and go. But if you are good at your content, even now I see people are not so good at writing the basics, right? It's still a taken, that's what Puneet said. But if you get your content right, if you get your accuracy right, and if you keep your customer right, I think these are the enduring trends that will go on, even if these small term trends keep coming and going. I think you should be strong at your basics. That's one comment I had.
Certainly, yeah. And I think Mridula meant by DD just by the way it's present.
Exactly.
Content-wise, of course, wherever people have option, they can go for others.
Yeah.
Okay, Aman, you want to add? You have a point?
I do actually. So I shared two links in the chat. Now both of them are deliverables that I've worked on in the past, and this was done way before Chatbot or ChatGPT was like the thing. So this basically brings in a point where I kind of like agree with Mridula, is like it's really difficult. It's really challenging for writers who do not, have not never done story writing, or have not created those stories, to basically be able to identify the flow. They are hard coded, hardwired to write instructions. What they know is define it, write instructions, refer to it, close, my job is done. But that's not what users need. And as managers, as people, we interact with users, we interact with people who basically interact with users directly, to understand what the pain points are. So when I was going through those pain points back in my organization, we realized that people needed these stories. But how do we get them, get them to them? And when ChatGPT was just not available, it was probably far away, it was costly or whatever. So we found different ways, and this way is now this is now the source for the next implementation. So in a way, we all did something that could basically be a source for what would go in tomorrow, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's the AI part, and so on. We have it. It's just that we need to find that information. We need to basically go and see what we did in past and how we can basically leverage what is coming up today and put that in there. Give it a different wrapper. It's like, I don't know, maybe like old wine in a new bottle or something, because the wine does exist. It's just that people need it in a different form now because you have different gadgets. I recently bought a 24. I was so hyped, and I'm amazed at the AI, that phone has in it. So AI is getting into those devices now. Eh, Like even the common man can go in and buy a device, and he has AI there. He has translator there. So why isn't documentation going to that level? It has to. Yes, long way, and whatever we're discussing basically is going in that direction. So somewhere or other, we
Correct.
definitely have done that in the past. Yeah, interesting stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you again. All those panelists and those opinions, they're eye openers. I mean, trust me, one way or other, I could relate to what you're discussing. I could relate to your responses in whatever domain you're working in. Tremendous. Thank you again, Puneet, for bringing up this session. It's really helpful. Thank you again.
Thank you, Aman, for your insights. Wonderful. Okay, so I think from what Aman also mentioned, I think it's time for audience here to differentiate, and what especially Pradeep mentioned, time for audience to differentiate. When people are talking here about naming different things, I won't repeat whatever they have said. There is something called soft skill. There is something called hard skill. You should be good in documenting. That is a soft skill. That is not your hard skill. Okay. What medium you will use for it, that is your hard skill. You should have technical knowledge. That is your hard skill. What names they have mentioned, those are the trends which you should learn if you haven't done. I would just like to put some differentiation in case somebody, if any of the audience think that, okay, I should be good in English is a core skill. No, that's your basic skill, buddy. Okay, nobody's bothered. You are a technical writer because you're good in English. That's it. Okay. Okay, coming back. Any other question, anybody? Based on the points we have so far. Otherwise,
I think Vaibhav raised.
I think yeah, Vaibhav raised a hand, but he mentioned it was raised by mistake. Vaibhav, do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so apart from those wonderful trends that you have already spoken, now let's come to the thing that's bothering everyone, and almost every talk is about it, not only in technical documentation, but in general also. Yes. So AI, I won't say Chat GPT, let's say just AI. Okay. So now if we talk about AI, yes, there has already been some points about it, but based on your experience and knowledge so far, how do you think the technical writers, number one, and then the managers or the doc team should actually see AI as a friend, as a foe? If as a friend, how they should be using it? So yeah, Mridula, you want to go ahead?
Yes. So when it comes to AI, I will say that it has become my guru as far as learning, CSS is concerned. Similarly, I have picked up Python also. I just, use the correct prompts to ask the correct questions to ChatGPT, and it literally gave me all the instructions I need to learn these two skills. So similarly, when a tech writer wants to pick up some new skill, that may or may not be directly, like they want to explore what is this about, then I would say that if you're not getting the information on internet and you have to pay up for a course or something, just use that 5 minutes and try to explore, try to get information. That is one of the brilliant use of AI actually, that try to explore new areas. And as we are talking about trends, I mean, who knows, that will help you board the correct train called trend.
Certainly. Great. And it's good to see. So here we have one live example, okay, and where she has been learning, using it, and that's what basically AI is for. Learn, use it for knowledge. Implementation is your part. How will you go
I'll
ahead and
just
do it?
interrupt there. I want to just share it. I might have shared it before also, that our doc portal, I built it from scratch using HTML and CSS. And believe me, I did not attend any HTML CSS course. It was just, AI that I used, because I am somebody who does not, take our content and put it into ChatGPT. And I have strictly asked my team not to use ChatGPT for that, but use ChatGPT to learn stuff. It is one of the most brilliant. So, we all call ChatGPT as the thief. Though if you put any information, it will just recycle it and give it to someone else. So instead of that, why not, take information from ChatGPT? So that is something that I have used very effectively.
Amazing. And when you said ChatGPT is a thief, so I will just give example of one conversation I was having with a developer, a very senior developer working in outside India. So this person says, I have 3 laptops, one for office, one for my personal usage, and one for ChatGPT. Why? I said, no, on my personal and office, I never use any link related to ChatGPT or AI, because you don't know. Even if you're not putting data, they are hacking your system. So, okay, Shrutika, over to you. You want to add something?
I was about to talk about the fear. So in my organization, uh, we are not allowed. Any form of AI is restricted, and it's fair enough because of the industry that we work in. But like Mridula said, like you said, Puneet, it's up to us. Rather than exploiting these technologies, we should be leveraging these technologies, right? So I think it's a people these days have a tremendous added advantage. I mean, what I took probably 5 years to learn on the job, people can learn it within an hour. So leverage
Yes.
it,
Yes.
right? And so I use so I like Puneet said, I don't have 3 laptops, but of course I have 2. One is my office and one is my personal one, where I do use AI to a large extent in learning things like coding. Mostly I ask questions about like Mridula said, CSS. I'm not good at sitting and learning by myself. I get distracted. I go down the rabbit hole of links. So it has helped me a lot in focused learning. Right? I have a question, I ask it, I get answers, and I try it. So leverage this. And then apart from that, ideation, it's very good for ideation. Put your raw thoughts, put your brain dump into it, and ask the AI to suggest things to you. You will be amazed at the kind of things that can be built upon your initial thoughts.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to add. And yes, Puneet, about the fear. If we start being afraid of everything, um, you know what will happen? We'll end up living under a rock, probably. So we have to exercise caution. Of course, we have to exercise caution and do it with responsibility. But yeah, I don't think it's a threat. I think it's an advantage.
Yeah, and probably when organizations are blocking it, it's probably, I mean, just my assumption, it's probably not about a threat, okay? It's about
Exactly.
something else also. In many organizations on official laptop, you are not allowed to use your social media links. Why? Is it a threat? No. They don't want you to do time pass at work time. You will go to Facebook, Twitter, Insta, right? What will you do there? They don't want to do that. Everybody is not fair. Every organization is not like Facebook and some other organization which think, okay, you are an adult, matured adult, you will have your own, justice and all that. So every organization, whatever they feel like. So probably the same thing with AI. So I don't think everybody is doing it out of fear. There are other reasons also. So yeah, Ravi, before, yes, to that question, certainly you can add if you have some point. Otherwise, I think we discussed before, and you had mentioned about one very interesting term called content design. When we are talking about trends and all, now content design, certainly it's not a term which like it's coming up new, but I think it holds very much importance. So would you like to add throw some light about that?
Yeah, before that, I will want to add something on the AI part.
Sure.
I think it's both, advantage as well as disadvantage. Why? Because like Mridula and Shrutika said, it will help you in learning few things, and not just learning. You if you look at say for LinkedIn itself, LinkedIn has AI integrated within it. It will help. It will give you, if you have the premium, LinkedIn enabled for you, or you are using that, it will have options of AI where it will help you to keep your profile, make it more attractive. And recently I've started using Canva, which is a online tool to create videos and all that. It has AI integrated with it. It will help you to create videos. Okay, so you need to know, there are options where it will help you to enhance the content that you're going to create, or even the full content itself. But that same thing as a legal or compliance impact, and that's where the companies they either restrict because the AI is it's evolving. We don't know what's going to happen next week or the next year. So we need to like Shrutika said, we need to be a little cautious what is going to happen and what's because as a manager, I have to evaluate a person's writing skill, which is, say, for example, I'm just picking up an example. That is something that has been taken from AI or it's created using AI. How do I evaluate it? So only way it is asking that person to write in front of you, rather than looking at some other samples which may not be actually entirely written by that person or that individual. So we should have tread with some caution. Plus, wherever we feel it is advantageous, we use it.
Certainly. Great. Yeah.
Yeah, and on the
content design, I want
content
to
design,
understand
it
from
actually kind of overlaps with Shrutika's thing where she talked about, or we mentioned UX design and all that, right? If you look at the past 4-5 years, you will find a lot of these words getting, even if you look at the job descriptions, you will find content strategy, content management, what else? Content design. There is even, if you look at the past 2-3 years in focused, you will find a lot of positions being addressed at a content designer. Now, what they do, if you look at their descriptions, it more or less matches with what tech writers does, plus something else. What are that? One is persuasive writing. Now, if in the content industry, you will find people from PR, public relations, marketing, sales, English graduates, technical people like me. I'm a programmer, but turned a writer. And then you will also find people, with other backgrounds. Each will, brings their own core skills. Now, content design is not a certain word, like you said. It is part of the whole user experience. Now, what is user experience? That's a question. If someone can answer that, what is user experience? Each one will have a. If you Google, you will find n number of meanings or interpretations of that. It's because it has inside it. It has several things. It has tech writing. It has content design. It has UX writing. It has usability. It has other aspects that the whole thing is actually called as user experience. Now, 10 years before, writers were just writing. They just need to produce content, not deliver it either online or a PDF or as part of the product. But as things evolved, there are other requirements as well, or new desires, if you want to call that, where people are asking, or the management or the team expectation is, okay, you are creating technical documentation, but I also want a sales materials, something like a promotional material. Can you create a video, or can you create a small flyer and all that? A hardcore tech writer may have a difficulty in writing persuasive writing. It may not become because how to and all that, it's quite straightforward. You just follow. Sorry. Was there a question or
I'm
just
sorry.
okay? Yeah. So if you look at the how-tos, it's just straightforward, step by step, which is as writers we are supposed to write in, be experts in that, but that's not enough. When you're writing to persuasive writing, how do you present something? So in my organization, as I was little experienced in the product, I was getting into other areas where there wasn't any experts in that, like doing pre-sales. Like all the other engineers are techie, they know how to make, but they don't know how to sell it.
Yeah, that art of writing and that
Yes,
that
yes.
mindset has to be
So I
that
ended
comes
up
with this kind of
yes,
experience.
yes, yes. So I ended up something, I have to unlearn few things as a tech writer and learn new things now.
Right.
That is
Yeah,
a little
so
difficult.
Unlearning, I think, is one of the most challenging part
Yep.
for any of us, isn't it? Okay,
And
so now
instead
as
of
we are
word,
approaching,
just want to add few things.
sure.
This content design is not just text. You have to think visually as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a writer, when I started, I found it very difficult to think in visual terms. I can write in words, but how will I illustrate it? So thereby, we should find some inspiration in comics or other areas where a lot of visual content is getting created. Okay, you can learn from them, and then design your content that has both all medium, text, pictures,
Okay.
movies, and all that. So that's what I
Sure.
actually mean by content design.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so to wind up, I will have one quick fire round. Quick fire round. I mean, the question is general, but it's in you. Three of you will have to answer very quickly. So the question will be same, but the it will be one for the individual contributors and one for the doc managers. So the question is same. In 2024, if you have to name one, just one core thing for individual contributors, what do you want them to follow and how do you suggest them to follow? Shrutika, individual contributors.
Yeah, so individual contributors, I myself was one, and it was very difficult to stay motivated. But I think going in 2024, individual contributors should keep this in mind that you are not unseen. It is, but it is also important to work on staying visible and relevant and inspired at the same time. So I want individual contributors to focus on pushing forward in terms of learning and growing as a professional network with people, because you are an individual contributor. That's one thing. I hope it was one thing.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it is. Yes, Mridula.
I would say agility, because we all are in a very fast-paced environment, especially those who are in startup world. They know how fast things change, and you cannot just sit and say that, okay, whatever I learned today is becoming irrelevant and I need to learn new things, because that is the change is the new constant. I know it's cliched, but yes, that's the truth. So agility.
And in today's world, that's more and more important actually. So, and Ravi, one trend.
They should have a lot of empathy as an individual contributor to understand users. So that I think that's basic necessary. Otherwise, how will they will write for this?
Yeah, and that reminds me, all these points remind me of, one thing. Understand users is fine. Try to understand your SMEs also. Don't just
Yeah.
crib, oh, SMEs are this and that. Because when we talk about AI, and after all these sessions, and almost all of you must be knowing about one term that is called as prompt engineering. Okay, you talk about ChatGPT is beautiful, she or he is such a good friend and all, but you need to ask questions, you know that, right? And you need to ask the right question. The way you question, the way you will get answer. The same applies to your SME interaction also. The question you will ask, they will answer that question only. And if you don't know how to ask question, don't blame them. Okay.
Yep.
So okay, so that was for one for the ICs. So okay, we will go ahead with Ravi only. So now for doc managers who are managing the doc team, in like we see that documentation teams overall now it's growing much more. Lot of scope for doc teams to do, and even value wise also it's growing. So any one specific trend you want them to follow in 24?
Managers, they should, try to build skills within their team that will help them to move to the next level. Like I said, content designing and all that. Give them opportunities where, as a manager, it will be difficult to delegate some tasks that you will be doing, but how will you help them to grow to your level? So you will have to keep those kind of tasks, make them grow, learn new things.
Yes, empower them. Yeah,
Empower them.
great. Mridula?
It is
Mute.
very important to have very strategic onboarding plans, because now, especially there is a, at least now the churn is less, but there was a time where there was a lot of, churn happening with the old writers going out, new writers coming in. So proper strategic onboarding plan is very important. We cannot rush through it. At the same time, it should not take too much of time. And once the person is onboarded, it is the doc manager's responsibility to ensure that person can contribute independently. So yes, initial phase, how when we learn cycling, the balance wheels are required, but then they have to come off so that the person knows to balance. So proper onboarding plan.
Hire people who can walk. Don't hire people who can only talk. Yeah, Shrutika.
I want all doc managers to, current and future, to remember progress over perfection. Um, so spend time in learning the ropes of being a manager, being a leader, shadow leaders in your organization and outside too, not just in your organization. Um, doc managers should also, or not should, must also learn managerial skills and methodologies. You may not get to implement them at your current workplace, but it is a must, in my opinion, to learn those things.
Great. So thanks so much for all the input and all the insights. So of course there is a lot to talk, but there is time constant and I am already 1 minute ahead of the time. So sorry audience for that, but still we can take probably 3 minutes if we have questions. Questions from the audience, if you have any. Ravi and Preeti, was there anything in the chat? Or else you can just, people can just ask questions. I can hear somebody unmuting.
Actually, this question is already answered in the chat, but
Okay.
I'm just repeating again. 835 for, I mean, this one from Amol. 35 or 40 plus year old writer finds a new set of learning more of external force rather than inner motivation. Your tips to such age group writers to gear up.
So I am about to be 50. I don't remember a single day when I don't try to learn something new, every day. Of late, it is not related to tech writing, but the enthusiasm to learn, I'm saying. My daughter was finding very difficult to retain information. So I just learned about child psychology and some pedagogy principles and strategize the entire learning process. And then I thought, okay, I can use exactly same process when I'm teaching adults also. So I started using those principles in my training sessions, and I got wonderful results for it. So learning should be always an ongoing process so that it becomes an habit. Best solution for motivation.
Yeah, I think
Great.
one more thing is like for both managers and individual contributors, I think reading is one thing that we should all practice. Not just anything related to AI or tech writing that anyway we are forced to do it, but general reading, I think it really helps everybody. And as even Ravi was saying, empathy. How do you learn empathy? Like when you read a lot of books, when you read a lot of perspectives from what people have written, and I think that really helps create empathy, learn about customers, how people will understand some things we are writing. And since we are writers, when we see such excellent content that is already written, that itself is a motivation for us to better our skills and be good at what we are doing. I think reading is a must for all, probably for everybody, but especially for writers. I think the humanity part of reading, right? Like not just the technical parts. So I think that is a compulsory thing that we should all follow for both writers and managers. I'm surprised a lot of people don't read, even at the knowledge industry that we are in. But if you want to be relevant and you want to do well in your career, I think reading is a must. There are brilliant books you should read.
Yeah. And we have a bookworms group. It's a completely fun group. People who want to read, you can just join that group. There is no TWT ad there. It's TWT ad free also.
Yeah.
But you should be a reader, basically, to join that group. Okay. So well said. And that also reminds me of one incident that I must have talked to many of you before also. In one of the interview questions, a manager, after the interview, the candidate contacts me, and what a stupid question I was asked. I said, what was the question in the interview? Okay. What was the last book that you read? And I don't get time to read, but still I mentioned something. And then the next question was, who was the best character from the book? And I was like, why are you asking this question in technical writing? So